Hi there. Hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson I will teach you geometric sequence. Of course, there is a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. First one, we need to find the first term and the common ratio given that the second term is 18. So let me just write this down. So we know that T2 is equal to 18. And the fourth term is 8. So T4 is equal to 8. So to work this out, so first of all, we know the general rule for geometric sequence is T of n is equal to A R power of n minus 1. So we have term 2 is equal to 18. So term 2 is 18. So that means 18 will give me AR. So n is 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So therefore, AR power 1. So R power 1 is just like R. Okay, so let's just name this equations number 1. And we also know that term 4 will give me 8. So therefore, we know that 8 is equal to AR power of n minus 1. We know that n is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So power of 3. So this is second equation. So now we need to solve this simultaneously. So to do this, so what I do, I use equation number 2 with divided by equation number 1. So in another word, 8 over 18 will give me AR power of 3 over AR. So we just use equation number 2. We divide by equation number 1. So there you go. Now what I do, I just simplify this. So I know that 18 over 2. And we know that 18 over 8. So we can both divide by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So 4 over 9. So let me just write this down. So that is, so 4 over 9 is equal to, so this I here, we cancel out. And R power of 3 divided by R. So that means 3 minus 1 is 2. So we live with R squared. So that is R squared. So now what I do, I square root both sides. So this means that R is equal to square root of 4 over 9. And don't forget, every time we square a number, we should have a plus and a negative. So this is plus or minus. So therefore, R is equal to, and don't forget, square root of A over B will give me square root of A over square root of B. So in another word, we have square root of 4 over square root of 9. So square root of 4 give me 2. So plus or minus 2. And with square root of 9 give me 3. So therefore, R is equal to negative 2/3 or positive 2/3. So let me just write here. So therefore, R is equal to negative 2/3 or R is equal to 2/3. So if R equal negative 2/3, to solve for A, what I do, I just substitute R equal negative 2/3 into equation number 1. This equation here easier. Of course, you can substitute R equal negative 2/3 into equation number 2 if you like, but number 1 is easier, simpler, that's all. So let me just write equation number 1 here. So this means that 18 is equal to A times negative 2/3. So what I do now is, to solve this, I just time by negative 3 over 2. So that will cancel out. So time by negative 3 over 2. So that both cancel out. So now we know that 18 divided by 2 is 9. And negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. So the answer is A is equal to negative 27. So when R is equal to 2/3, so when R is equal to 2/3, we can just substitute R equal to 2/3 into equation number 1 again. Okay, so let me just write this down. Substitute R is equal to 2/3 into equation number 1. So this means that 18 will give me A times 2/3. A times 2/3. So now we just times both sides by 3/2 to get rid of the 2/3. So it times by 3/2. We times this by 3/2. So that cancel out. And then now 18 divided by 2 is 9. And 9 times 3 is 27. So therefore A is 27. So therefore when A is 27, R is 2/3. And when A equal negative 27, R is equal to negative 2/3. So there you go. Second one. So we need to find the general rule for this sequence. We know that term 3 will give me 20. And also term 6 will give me 160. And we know the general rule for this is T of n is equal to A R power of n minus 1. So term 3 will give me 20. So this means that 20 is equal to AR n minus 1. So n is 3. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So R squared. Now term 6 is equal to 160. So this means that 160 will give me AR power of 6 minus 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5. So AR power of 5. So now this is equation number 1. And this one here is naming equation number 2. So makes it easier. So now what I do, I just use equation number 2. I'm going to divide it by equation number 1. So this means that 160 over 20 will give me AR power of 5 which divided by AR squared. And this is equation number 2 which divided by equation number 1. So we just divide by equation number 1. So there you go. So what I do now is I just simplify this. So 160 divided by 20. So we can just cancel the 0. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. Otherwise, you can just put down a calculator. Okay. So that is 8. And then now we have this 8 cancel out. So R power 5 divided by R squared. So we use index law. So 5 minus 2 give me 3. So R power of 3. So R power of 3. So what I do, I cube root both sides. So R is equal to cube root of 8. And we know that cube root of 8 give me 2. So therefore, R is equal to 2. Of course, you can just put on a calculator, cube root of 8, and you should get answer for 2. Okay, so keep that in mind. So now what I do, I need to find the value of A, the first term if you like. So what I do, I just substitute into either equation number 1 or number 2. Doesn't really matter. So I just use equation number 1. Okay, in this case here. You can, of course, you can put that number 2 if you like. So I just go substitute R is equal to 2 into equations number 1. So this means that 20 will give me AR squared. So R is 2. So therefore times 2 squared. So 2 squared is 4. So I divide by 4 on both sides. And I divide this by 4. That cancel out. So 20 divided by 4 give me 5. So therefore A is equal to 5. So now we have A and we have R. So the general rule for this sequence is T of n equal A, which is 5. R is 2. So 2 power of n minus 1. So there you go. This is the rule for this sequence. Please pause the video and try this one yourself. Hi there, I'm back. How did you go? So let me go through it with you. Before I do that, please do not forget to give me a thumb up and subscribe if you haven't done so you can help me to grow my channel. So let's get into it. So first of all, we know that the second term of this sequence is 625. So let me just make note on this. So T2 will give me 625. And we also know that the fifth terms of this sequence is 5. So T of 5 will give me 5. And we know the rule for geometric sequence is T of n is AR n minus 1. Now I just use term 2 equal to 625 into these equations. So 625 will give me AR and term 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1, R power 1. So R power 1 is R. So in another word, 625 is equal to AR. Now, name this equation number 1, okay? And now we have term 5 will give me 5. So the fifth term is equal to 5. So this means that 5 equal A R power n minus 1. So n is 5. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So this is equation number 2. There you go. So now what I do, I just use equation number 2 which divided by equation number 1. So this means that 5 over 625 will give me AR power 4 over AR. So that is equation number 2 we divided by equation number 1. So what I do now, I just simplify this. So for 5 over 125, I can just quickly simplify, or you can just put down a calculator, okay? So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 go to 6 is 1, remainder 1. 5 go to 12 is 2 times, remainder 2, so it's 5. So that will give me, on this side here, we cancel. So R power 4 divided by R, so give me R power 3. So R power 3. So if I take cube root on both sides, so let me just move this up a bit. So therefore, R is equal to cube root of 1 over 125. So there you go. So let me just put that on a calculator. So I just go 1 over 125 equal and cube root of that. So shift cube root answer. So there you go. So R is equal to 1/5. So therefore, R is 1/5. So there you go. Now to find A, so what I do, I just go substitute R equal 1/5 into equation number 1. Of course, you can substitute the R value, that is 1/5, into equation number 2 if you like, but number 1 is easier, that's all. So now we just go 625 is equal to A times 1/5. So to solve this, I times 5 on both sides. So there you go. That cancel out. So therefore, A is equal to, so just go 625 times 5. So there you go, 3,125. So 3,125. So there you go. So the rule for this is T of n will give me AR power n minus 1. So A is 3,125 times by R. So 1/5. So R minus 1. The question is asking us to find the 7th term of this sequence. So that means T7. So T of 7, which is equal to 3,125 bracket 1/5 of, because it's 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay, so power 6. So now what I do, I just put that on the calculator. So I just go answer times brackets 1 over 5 and then power 6. So there you go, 1/5. So which is 1/5. So you got, therefore T7 is equal to 1/5. And I hope you got it correct. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.